Welcome back everyone to Enforcer and the Dude. Paul Morris, Russell Ingall at the beautiful Norwell Motorplex up here in Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia. Hey, good to be back, mate. It's great reviews and thanks to everyone that watched the last episode as well, or our first episode back for 2021.
2021.
Yeah, it was good. Good feedback, plenty of good questions. People were very happy that Supercheap Auto have come on board, which has brought the show back online.
Great response. So
Yep.
yeah, I've been out about. I've been to the 6 hour, which is plenty of Enforcer and the Dude fans on the ground there, mate.
I reckon there would
in the
be.
town and at the track, it was good to see the response.
Yeah, it was. No, so it's been very, very positive. So thanks again to all our fan base. And we got fan questions coming up towards the end of the show, so make sure you stick around for that. Mate, we got a cool show. Been around. You've been doing some digging, calling up on some old mates on the phone. I've been doing the same. We got a bit of on-track action and a guest from the US of A.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it?
It's bloody good. Yeah, really good.
Good timing too with that guest.
Yeah, really good. So it'd be interesting to see what he's got to say about life. Mate, let's roll into it. Bit of a review, as we always do.
Yep.
With a bit of motor racing stuff. We talked about F1 and MotoGP. Not much has been happening there. Bit of racing going on. Jack Miller's got a bit of arm pump.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
No, not real good.
Considering he was, hoped to get on that factory bike and get going. So yeah, that have to watch that one. But yeah, that's no good.
Yeah,
Marquez clear to come back, but so
Oh, how good's that?
that's gonna.
That'll sort the boys out.
I'm looking forward to that and see where everyone really is at.
Be a few nervous clackers amongst the other riders, I reckon,
Yeah.
with his return, and whether he's going to shake it up or not. So I'll be watching in earnest about that one as well. But I don't know about Jack. He had the same. A lot of races that he went into over the last few years, he has the same trouble. Qualifies really well, good on one lap, but he just seems to twist the throttle too hard, too soon, and burns up the rear tyre.
Yeah, well, from our point of view, it looks like he can't get the tyres on the bike. I don't know whether that's him, his riding style, or how the electronics work, or it is the arm pump, and he just can't control the thing. So hard for us to talk with any authority on it, but
Yeah, just visually.
overlay, it looks like he's struggling with tyre life.
Yep. Hey, we got to talk about the Bathurst 6 hour.
Yeah,
Well done, mate.
yeah, it was good. We got
Got to the podium.
Yeah, we got a class win. I think we were 5th outright in the Mustang. We had our troubles throughout the day, but big battle within the class, and we went a couple laps down, got it back, and then finally got back onto the lead lap in the last hour, and I got back in the car and got to finish it off. It was very enjoyable, Russell.
Yeah, it was good. I actually had the race on the whole time. I flicked it on, and I was out doing other stuff, and still had it rolling throughout the day. And it was actually really interesting. It almost took you back to the early days of Bathurst, especially the start, just seeing all those cars lined up around the corner as well. We haven't seen that for a while. I reckon it was just cool, and all the different type of categories, which means it wasn't just a battle. As far as an outright battle, you're battling to get past all those slower cars, so you couldn't relax. Like you had to concentrate. You're firing up on cars you're maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds quicker.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to back in the days of the 1000 where, you had privateers, family-run teams, and people with day jobs can go and win a trophy at the mountain. So that for me is pretty cool. A few ringers like Shane and a few professional drivers in there. I had a drive, which I've been doing for a while. I wouldn't say I'm that competitive anymore, but I had a good time. But I think it's very important to keep that race as the one that people with day jobs can go and win and keep it at that level. Don't make it elitist. And the other thing I really enjoyed about it was as you're saying, the different speed and the challenge of traffic. You had to manage the traffic pretty right to be competitive in your lap time, which is something you don't do again in the 1000. So it's a great event for Australian motorsport.
Great coverage. Seven gave it a good run.
How good with
which
the
is good.
commentators.
Yeah.
Like I really like Matt Nolte. We're a big fan of Matt Nolte.
Matt Nolte's great. He's a great commentator.
Yeah.
Richard Craill
Greg
was good.
Russ anchoring it. Richard Craill doing what he does. He's one of the best race callers in the business.
Yeah.
Those three guys
Agree.
together. Brad Hodge in the pits. Jess Dane did a brilliant job.
Jess was great. Yeah. She should have. The interview that she did with Roland.
He's all business, isn't he?
Roland spins me out because I was wondering why no one was going up and talk to him. you know, but they obviously gave Jess the short straw. You get down there, he's your dad, you know, you might be able to get in there. Mate, he half blew her off because he was just concentrating on the job. So that's what I mean, whether it's a supercar race or the 6-hour production cars, he puts in the same amount, you know, the same amount of effort and concentration about it. And you said behind the scenes he was organising everyone, getting in there and doing all this stuff.
It was pretty good to watch, and I dragged Roland in and just said, hey, do you want to come and be the strategist and help us with the strategy on the 6-hour? Well, within 5 minutes, he became the team manager. Like, he just took it. But what a brilliant job he did. He was over every aspect of the car, tyre pressures, fuel burn, like still very hands-on. Not a lot of computers and data in those cars, so it's old school racing, and it was pretty good to watch him operate in that. It's no secret why he wins a lot of car races.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hey, you were saying about how do you protect that? I know we were talking off air about it. How do you protect the sector? Because straight away I looked at it and thought, you know, while I was on the phone Monday morning, ring around a couple of car dealer mates that I got, you know, what do you reckon would be a good production car? You know, trying to get some deals done. Yeah. Because it sort of pricked my ears up a bit, and I know there's a few others going around the place, current drivers as well as, you know, people in my position that are just sitting on the fence nowadays, about going in the race. But how do you control that, and all of a sudden you don't get a flood of, you know, A or even B listed drivers, which are still good, you know, getting in there and ruining the race because you've got 3 gun drivers in the one car? You know, how do, because I reckon it's a great event, but I reckon it'd be great if you did get a couple of name brands in there, you know, like Shane. And
Shane was in there, and he was the anchor driver for that team, but you had Rob Rubis and Shane Smilan, who are bloody good drivers, been around in Australian motorsport a long time, and to see them get the win, with Shane's help, for me was cool. So maybe limit it to 1 pro per car would be a thing. And I think the other thing about it is keep it on a tyre that's not too advanced. Like the MRF tyre, pretty low grip, but absolutely perfect for that purpose, because the grip level's down and the average guy can drive the car.
Yeah, okay.
You bring the grip level up into more of a race type tyre with a bit more grip level. Yeah. It makes it harder to drive.
Because even though, I mean, Shane did as per normal, Shane did a fantastic job, there's no doubt about it. But the other BMW with Tim Lay in it, he was hanging on to him for a while. So what you're saying is correct. Yeah. Because, I mean...
Tim drives once a year.
Tim's a once-a-yearer. And he was doing a good job.
Driver. Could have been in his day, had things gone his way. He was hanging in there. We saw Steve Valerie make a comeback after 15 years.
Yeah.
Did a great job. So, mate, we need to be in that race next year, the Enforcer and the Dude car.
Got to be. Yeah. You can see it now, blazing down the side. I'm serious. I really enjoy it. But you're right, they've got to keep it so it just doesn't become an all-out pro event. So the gentleman drivers, as they used to call them in GT, or still do, you know, can get in there and have a bit of fun. And that's what you want. That was a good thing about it. You had everyone... Well, you trailered the thing up there. I mean, you still have trailer races and roll out. And there was, like I said, mum, dads and the family are in the pits and they're changing stuff and doing it. I reckon that's really,
was hands-on,
really
family-run teams. You know, Aussie legends and battlers like Aaron McGill still there with their hands covered in grease, trying to keep their car going and making it to the end. Like right down pit lane, there was good stories, and that's what motor racing is about. Let's not make that event elitist. They've turned everything else into elitist events. That you got to protect what that 6 hour is.
Yeah, I reckon that's really good. And were you the first gear shifted car home?
Yep, I shifted
myself.
Weren't you?
Yeah. You shifted yourself. You were the first gear shifted car. Okay, because it was all floppy paddles in front of you.
It was, and that, look, those cars come out like that.
You should have got a trophy for that.
Yeah, well, that's another thing, right? Yeah. I think pretty low rent by the organisers. There's 3 drivers in each car, and you get 1 trophy. What are we going to do? Cut it in half?
You only get 1 trophy?
Yeah, so that's... To me, that's the dumbest thing that promoters do in this country. They don't hand out enough trophies. You give trophies to people, they take them home, they put them on their mantelpiece, they show their friends, and they all talk about the car race. Yeah. It's the cheapest promotion you ever do, and people love trophies.
That's pretty average.
If you're listening ARG, get more trophies.
Good on you, dude. Absolutely. No, it's good. No, it was a really good event. I actually enjoyed it. I think it's definitely got its place, and it will only get bigger. Yeah. I think they're going to have a problem next year, too many bloody cars. I think they have to cope.
And hopefully we get some dealers and manufacturers get involved in that thing. But again, BMW, if you're listening, BMW, you're undefeated in that race and you never tell anyone about it. So Get involved.
Actually, if you're talking about, because I know we bang on here about supercars, forget manufacturer support because the cars aren't relative, which is true.
Yep.
They're not relevant, to
Well, there's
to
a win on Sunday, sell on Monday deal right there.
That
mate.
is completely the other way. That is relative to manufacturers. You know, and the good thing about it could get back to the old days where, you know, dealers get involved.
All you need is a friendly dealer and a
Absolutely.
bit of support, and you can go racing.
Dealer supplies the car to turn in and put the roll cage and everything. Dealers could get like it used to be. To be individual dealers get involved in the sport. I reckon it's
marquee event for production
terrific.
cars, and with that now being on 7 and the way it was produced and the content and the reporters and the way it was all done should be enough uplift for production car racing in Australia.
Yep. Hey, Scotty McLaughlin, been a lot of news about him lately. Been a couple of tests on the lead up to IndyCar. Man, what a big one to go into.
It's a big first event. Looks like he's been playing himself in.
Yeah.
He just does everything right, Scott, doesn't he? Even just the way he approaches how he fits into the culture over there, you know. He's very aware of what's around him and not to make any waves and just keep doing the right thing.
And who's another
professional?
Who's another one that did that? Australian that went over, Tasmanian, but Marcus Ambrose, did exactly the same thing. Played the political game as well as he did with his driving, because it's so important in America, because you're still an outsider, even though Aussies are favoured pretty high over there. Yep. You're still an outsider, you know. So yeah, you're right. Politically outside, doing all the right moves. He's pretty switched on, isn't he? He's getting it. If he's not doing it naturally, he's getting advised very well.
I think that's his natural game, Scott. He's very good at it. He leaves no stone unturned. He looks at what he can do himself and then looks at what he can do better. He's looking like he's a natural leader within a team, and he's building that around him. It's pretty good to watch.
Can I say, all right, getting into promoting your sport, right? So ways of promoting, you know, you look at all different aspects of motorsport in this country. Supercars obviously being the biggest one in town. How to promote your sport, right? And there's things that supercars do seriously, and even in the recent telecasts, I cringe. I know they're trying to make it into a bit of a family reality, you know, but stop it. You know, some of it's cringeworthy, in my personal opinion.
Right. You're not just getting too old.
No. I talk to people, mate. They go, seriously.
You're a man of the people.
We want to see motor racing. We want to hear about motor racing from people that know about motor racing. That's why people tune into this show. Okay, the Netflix show, Drive to Survive. Have you seen that?
Formula One, yeah.
Yeah,
on Formula One show. Second season now.
All behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
So they got a crew, like our band here, going around just following these dudes around, big boom mics, trying to be inconspicuous, not even know they're there, you know, just picking up everything. And obviously F1 have said, hey, because some teams didn't do it in the first season. They said, no, we're not doing it because they were worried about giving away secrets or looking bad or whatever. It looks like they've given a directive now, hey, all you lot, you have to do it. Deal is, Netflix got the deal, probably paid them a ton of money. You have to do it, right? So, but it was so interesting. Like I got through those 10 in a flash, like, and I'm going, oh, geez, I wish it was longer.
Yeah,
all of a sudden,
done that.
Oh, that wasn't.
Well, it was badly edited, mate.
That was terrible.
It was terrible,
in my opinion.
No, but
it was. Yeah. No, that wasn't.
Poor Barry Ryan became the whipping boy for everyone
that
that's ever been yelled at.
But doing it like that, like I know it's probably a big budget production and all the rest of it to do it.
Yeah.
But even still, it just gave you such a great insight to the people, the individuals, personalities, and not just the drivers, but the team managers and some of the stuff that goes on. It just made me, if I wasn't a motorsport fan, I would watch it. And I've spoken to people, including male and female, and I know they've got no interest in Formula One, that have watched it and gone, geez, that was interesting. I think I'll just watch it. You can't underestimate the power of something like that. Forget everything that goes on track and all the other fluff stuff that they do. That single thing is probably the best promotional tool for a category I've ever seen.
It is. And Ricardo's come out this week and said he's now recognised in America when he's walking around. People don't, oh, we've seen you on Netflix on Drive to Survive. I watched your race the other night.
Yep.
So it's got massive reach within the general population.
Massive.
It's a good point. But I think supercars have tried to do that with what they're doing. I understand they're working on one with following the Red Bull team around this year. So, yeah, but they haven't got the mix right.
You got to say, look, there's no, everything's open. Open book. Like, you cannot.
They should just get you to produce then you get everything you want.
I would. Seriously, I'd pull them up.
Give you a couple of cameras and let loose.
Yeah, because it's naturally, from what I've seen, someone pulls up and goes, no, everything's beautiful. You don't want beautiful. Some of the stuff that I saw in there, I was shocked. I went, oh, Jesus. And then all of a sudden I started forming opinions about individuals. Some of the team owners going, that guy's a dog. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if he looks like a dog. The thing is, you've got an opinion and you form an emotion with it. So all of a sudden you've got emotional contact with the team and the sport. It's such a good thing. I think it's a no-brainer. That is such a good show. I just sort of bring that because, like I said, I just watched it the other night, the whole series, and I started watching the first one again.
Supercars need you, mate.
That's right.
Yeah.
I can be had for a price. Right, now, like I said, we're going to come back and do some we've got some really good fan questions for this one. But first, remember our last show, the first show?
Yep.
We talked about, and it came through one of our fan questions actually. I said if you could have a car for a weekend, any car, showroom, off the showroom floor car, and you said a Ram truck. You said, I'll have a Ram, even though you got one, but you said, I'll grab a new one.
You said the Porsche or something, wasn't it?
Porsche Taycan, yeah.
Well,
even though I'm not a sports car fan, I like muscle cars and that. I'm intrigued with this whole full electric car.
Yeah.
Can an electric car
cool.
have the performance of a gun petrol engine sports car, So guess what?
You got one for me.
I got one for you, mate. I got one. I pulled a few strings, made a few calls.
Well, you use on the track.
Mate, there's bugger all of them around.
Yeah.
They're like bloody gold rats to try and get hold of, but I got one.
Am I allowed to drive it?
I want to drive it first.
Okay. Just
in case it doesn't come out of the other end. At least I get to drive in first.
It'll be right, mate.
Yeah, it'll be all right. I do trust you.
Okay.
It's the gun one. I'm not going to say anymore. Let's get out on track, right? You get out in the skid pan and I'll drag it out the shed. But I have to make this clear, I haven't driven it. I drove it here in eco mode, nothing else. So I haven't even been on the track. So I want this to be a total surprise for both of us.
That's a good deal. Let's get into it, mate.
Get ready, dude.
What do you reckon, mate? You reckon he's on the take from the electric vehicle movement or something? Like, he's raving on about these electric cars all the time. Must be getting a free one out of someone, or I know what it is. He's no longer has his free fuel deal. That's why he wants one. Doesn't want to pay for fuel anymore because he's not getting free fuel. You idiot.
What do you reckon, dude?
Huh?
What do you reckon?
I was just talking about how you like all these electric cars because you no longer get free fuel.
Don't think any less of me, all right? I know because we had the Jaguar I-Pace last year, but mate, this is next level. This is next level.
No,
now,
I agree.
Now, haven't driven it yet. Haven't driven it around the track, so I want to make sure our first reactions is how it actually happens, right? So I haven't tested it. I drove it up here, drove it in eco mode, so it's very placid. But I want to see what it drove like normally as well, and it was really nice. Like I was expecting.
As a daily driver.
As a daily driver, it's got big tyres on it, or big rims, low wall tyres. Rides nice, very easy to drive. Not what I was expecting. I thought it'd be like driving, like a 911.
Oh yeah.
A bit harsh and very smooth to drive. But anyway, I want to take you around it first because that's.
I'm not into the.
I know. It's a hard sell.
This is for the fans. I just want to go for a rip. But give me a spit. You sure you haven't got a free one of these?
You're a hardcore piston and rings
sort
of guy.
I don't mind the electric, mate.
I get its place.
So
first off, the style.
Yeah.
Like, unmistakable Porsche.
You can tell that's a Porsche, I agree.
You can tell it's a Porsche. Like, have a look at it. Have a look at the back end. It's a big rig. Like, for just under 5 metres, 4960 or something. So it's as big as an SUV, as wide as an SUV, like a big decent one. So it's a big rig, 4-door. So it's not 911 size. She's a big hunk. Like,
yeah, but it's not a SUV either,
it sort of looks small. Like, you wouldn't look at it and go, oh, well, that's, you know.
It's like about the size of a Stinger or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like, what's a Commodore? Oh, Commodore's probably about that sort of size.
Yeah.
So a 4-door Commodore. So now massive brakes. You know, 6-piston, 4-piston. Now they're coated discs. They're not the ceramic discs, but it's the disc signified by the colour of the brake calipers are white, which means they're a coated disc, which gives them better performance. Not quite as good as ceramics, but don't give off brake dust. So if you're a car guy and you hate brake dust, no brake dust.
Oh, okay.
So you will stay clean.
Cleaning your rims.
Why don't all manufacturers do that?
That's a good feature, isn't it?
Oh, it's a bloody good feature. I'm sick of bloody washing my wheels and rims and that because I've got black brake dust all over them. I really like the styling. I was a bit hesitant when I first saw pictures of it. I thought, nah, is it any good? But I like it. I reckon it looks better than a Panamera, which is their next biggest 4-door car.
Yep.
Petrol and hybrid, only in the Panamera, but I like it. Do you like the style?
I do. To me, it's a cool looking car. A lot of people buy a sports car, a Porsche, because it's a status symbol.
Yep.
They like it. You can tell that's a Porsche. Yeah, I get it.
There's your filler in the side. You know,
that's where you plug in.
So you plug in. You got your fast charging, which you can get, you know, a reasonable percentage just in 20 minutes if you've got the 3-phase fast charge.
Oh, fast charger, yeah.
Fast charger, so it regenerates pretty. So I'll roll off a few stats for you. Have a look, have a walk around.
Well, I just want to go in it.
Yeah, have a walk around. I know you do, but we got to.
Give me the.
Have a walk around and just take it all in.
Okay, mate.
Breathe it in. Yeah, no, because this is about you.
Where's the spare wheel?
This is about converting the dude.
You haven't done your research.
I don't think there's a spare wheel.
There isn't?
No, I think you get a
run flat.
Yeah, run flat, and they got a repair kit. No flat, unfortunately. But tell me what you think of it. Now, range anywhere between 430 to 498 kilometres. So you get a reasonable.
Oh yeah.
Remember, there's 2 boots too. You got one in the front now too, because there's no engine.
Here's your cable.
So you get that. So you know, 400 let's say in an average 400 kilometres. 400 kilometres to charge. So that's pretty reasonable.
Okay.
So that's not too bad. Around town, yeah.
Around town.
That's not too bad. Now, ask me about the power.
What's the power?
Well, dude, I'm glad you asked. Now, believe it or not, in launch control mode, it's got 850 Newton meters of torque.
Right.
850.
Okay.
Like
it's a stump puller.
What off-the-shelf item has got that sort? I think the ZL1.
Kenworth.
Kenworth, yeah. I mean, it's serious horsepower. Power 460 with overboost. So with the launch control and overboost, 500 kilowatts in power. Now it's got a 2-speed rear axle, so electric motor in the rear with a 2-speed axle, single speed in the front with another electric motor.
Oh, 2 electric motors.
2 electric motors, and that's all it's got.
One pushing, one pulling.
That's it. So obviously 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
But a 2-speed. Not that you'd tell when you're driving it. You can't really tell that. You can't feel it change gears. Just feels like a golf buggy.
Just linear power.
Just linear power all the way through. Very weird to drive something that's got this much grunt that you wait for the gear change, you know, each time, and it doesn't happen. There's just nothing. You just push the gas and there it is. But still practical. So, like I said, 4-door. So
oh, there's a bit of room in there.
There's a bit of room. Will you get in there?
Yeah, I'll get in there. Yeah, that's all right.
I'll tell you one of the design aspects, dude. You know why you can fit in there? Because with the batteries, they can run a flat floor.
Oh, yeah, get them down low.
They've actually lowered the floor. So even the roof line looks very low. The floor is actually low to go with it. So overall, you've got plenty of head height. How's that for a sports car? That's not much higher than a 911. You can actually fit in it.
It does smell good in here, doesn't it?
It does. I know.
That new car smells pretty good, isn't it?
That leather, real leather, mate. Not Forks leather or fake leather. Or
so it's okay to have an electric car and kill cows.
Euthanise, mate. But anyway, you get that. Every time you have a steak, you're doing that. So.
No, that's all good. I get it, mate. I just want to go for a rip.
You want to go for a rip? All right. Load in.
Like,
jump in the front, mate. We'll go for a stab.
Okay.
You're not going to sit in the back.
I thought it might be like the Bentley, mate. Like.
No, she's not a Bentley. It's a sports car, mate. Jump in.
Okay.
Let's go. What do you think?
Full glass cockpit.
It is. It goes right through. Dash goes right through to your side. So if we're on a rally, you could have the navigation over that side.
Oh, I could. It's a bit like an aircraft, really, isn't it? Like,
yeah. It's nice though, isn't it?
It is.
Very easy, like all touch. Very nice. Like I said, when the dealer, our friends from Gold Coast Porsche, who lent us this.
Porsche Centre Gold Coast.
Porsche Centre Gold Coast, yep.
Yeah.
When they did the handover, it was like 10 minutes. There it is. Easy switch on the dash. Drive, neutral, reverse, park button, normal control. All very spaced out nice. You know, nothing's... I was expecting to get in here and it'd be like, you know, like a laptop. But it's all very easy. Head-up display, really bright, which every car should have a head-up display. Why it hasn't got that? You're looking down at your speedo.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer, isn't it?
It is.
It'd save a lot of lives. That'd be a lot safer than making speed cameras.
For sure. General Automotive, that should be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So very easy, nice cockpit. You can see someone with race car experience has had design.
This.
It's very.
It's a bit like the.
It's like a tub,
like the E-Type. I remember in the old E-Type.
Yeah.
It's that sports car feel, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Proper design. Probably, well, E-Type was designed by race car guys, with engineering, race car engineers.
You sit in it, not on it.
Yeah. So it feels like you're in a tub of a Formula car. So it's all good. So basically, I've got it in normal mode. You've got activation switch here, so for all your modes, and basically reverse.
Analog clock.
Yeah, reverse. So you've got nice cameras, 360-degree camera. All comes up pretty nice.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Then you put neutral, drive. It's got forward cameras, so it's all pretty nice. All right, what do you reckon? We'll go for a nice...
Proof's in the pudding, mate.
It is. You know the thing about it though, dude? Quiet. Quiet.
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it? Just nothing. It's odd though, isn't it?
You're getting old, mate.
Hey, guess what?
You're worried about that guy driving up and down your street in a Ferrari. You can get him to get one of these.
No, but look, it's got a... I hope it works. It's got a... Can you hear it? Hear it, that?
Oh, it's got a...
Yeah, it's got...
Sound effects.
Hear it?
Yeah, I can. Is that to stop running over people on the street or something?
Oh, well, I thought it was... The guy told me from the dealer, he said, I thought it was just internal, but it's external. You can hear it outside as well.
Oh, okay.
It must have speakers out and under the mudguards or something, I don't know. But
well,
yeah,
you can
turn it.
You won't hear it coming.
No, true, so you can turn it on or off. So it's got off, but I don't know, do you want it on or off? I'll leave it off.
Leave it off, we'll go for the full.
So this is just normal mode, so we'll do a lap, as we usually do. I don't want to warm things up a bit, because we haven't doing this thing in anger yet, so first impressions, just nice, smooth.
Nice motoring, mate. Comfortable.
But it's
good. How good's the vision?
It's a big window, isn't it?
Big window, isn't it?
Big if you look at, no doubt when you drive it, look out the back's not that flash, but any sports car never is. Got the tiny little window. But take that away from it, the vision's really good.
Armrest here.
Yeah. How's the roof height? This is what I was saying to you about the floor, because the floor is so low that even though it's a very low car, like you're in a chop top, you've actually got plenty of height because they've lowered the seat into the floor plan because there's nothing under there bar a battery. A pretty good idea, isn't it?
Yeah.
Low center of gravity as well, so everything's low down. It should handle pretty well.
What are we on? 89%.
Yeah, 350 k's range, so So this is just normal, everyday mode.
Yeah.
Suspension setup adjusts with your modes as well. You know, it's obviously stiffens up.
Driver mode, chassis height, accelerator, electric sport sound off.
So every time I take the foot off the brake or brake, regen. Yeah. So Formula One sort of material. So what do you think?
Yeah. Well, mate, it's nice.
It's nice. From a driver's perspective, from someone.
It turns in all right, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not like it's a sled.
No, it
quite
feels
dynamically good, doesn't it?
It feels nimble. You know what I mean? It feels, even though it's a big car, like I said, it's nearly 5 metres long. It feels like a small car when you're driving. It feels light, nimble. I'm really impressed. Like I said, driving it up here to Norwell today, I thought driving out an open road, really nice. Like it just did everything nice. Brakes aren't really touchy. You know, I've driven some hybrids where you touch the brake and it just about puts you through the window because the initial's really touchy and then it's not very good after that. This seems, again, it's had someone that's had race experience design the thing.
Well, it's Porsche. They can't. Yeah. It's got to be dynamically functional.
Yeah, exactly.
You going to lay one on it, or you're just going to drive around like this day?
No, but I want to give you that. You got to take the experience, Pussy. You always want to go fast.
Well,
you got to build up to it, mate.
I'm not into cars really unless they got a number on the door. But you're getting me.
Okay, all right. I just want to give you both ends of the spectrum because it is a road car still. At the end of the day, so we got to judge it at a road car mirror.
G just right there. What speed? 80 through there.
80 through there.
Hang on, all right, doesn't it?
All right. So you want to get serious? Now they've given me the rundown.
Well, okay.
So let's get a little bit.
What are you going to go to?
Let's get a little bit serious. Yeah.
All right.
Well, right. So apparently he said sport mode. So we've got
Just
sport.
Give it everything, Russ.
Sport plus.
Full amps.
So sport plus is everything.
That's every bit of power it's got.
Yeah. It's got everything up. So we're sport plus. So he said turn the knob to that, right?
Yep.
And that's all you do. He said the suspension.
It all adjusts.
Chassis height's medium. Believe it or not, in Europe they have a low setting. Mm-hmm. But Australia, they only have a medium setting.
That's because our roads are shit.
That's one reason.
Oh.
But also, believe it or not, because the batteries are all in the floor, and our climate is so hot, and the tarmac gets so hot, that in low mode, they're worried about cooking the batteries.
Yeah, right, okay.
Because it's too close to the heat coming off, especially up here in Queensland, or northern too. Tasmania would be fine.
Yeah.
So it only goes to medium for Australian delivered cars.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. So we can't. Right. So I set the lowest setting, Sport Plus chassis mode, everything's in go fast mode. Now, he said all you do for this launch control, which gives it 500 kilowatts, 850 newton meters torque. So you put your foot on the brake, hold it flat, and take your foot off the brake.
Okay.
So we good?
Good. All right. I'm about to bungee jump or something.
You know how quick this goes?
I'm about to find out.
0 to 100, 3.0.
That's
fast.
That's hooked up.
That's hooked up. Is that faster than the supercar? I think it is.
4 seconds is a good supercar launch, isn't it?
Okay, 3.0. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go, dude.
Yeah.
Flat. No noise. Shit!
Holy You're kidding me?
Jesus Christ.
That was that fight out of a cannon, mate.
Bloody hell.
Jesus,
This is odd.
I thought that commando was.
I felt the rear gear. I felt the rear gear would change. Jesus Christ. Mate, you're a bit quiet.
Huh?
You're a bit quiet.
It's got the acceleration, just fires off the corner, doesn't it?
This is bizarre.
Holy shit, mate.
Oh,
Maybe
I'll tell you what.
will be exciting when they go electric.
Oh, you got to watch the brakes a bit, mate. They're a bit. Mate, that's 160.
That's 160, mate. Holy shit, hang on, Russ. You don't want to own this thing, mate. Slow down.
Shit, that was 180.
Oh, Jesus! What happened there? I was ready to go around the corner.
He wasn't going to stop, mate. I couldn't stop it. I was taking it like the 86.
I feel like I've been on that bloody thing at Dreamworld where they're about to drop you. You know what's surprising about it? Like, because you used to get in those sensors that you hear the engine revs or you hear anything, and you just don't know what's going to happen, do you?
It's just weird. You can feel the weight of it.
That's exhilarating. That's more fun than...
Yeah, there's a lot of weight behind
it. You frightened the shit out of me in that Camaro. This is another level.
This is a bit... it's got all the assistance mode. Do you want to turn the assistance off, you reckon?
I reckon I'm shaking, mate. Do you reckon you should?
I don't know. Do you reckon?
What's it doing?
No, like it. Oh, you can feel it on the go on the ABS and...
I think I'd leave that on, mate. You don't want to lob the thing.
Oh, true. Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Well, that's a lot of power coming in without any driver aid. You want to spend a bit of time in the thing too.
Mate, we were 160 before I got to the right-hand sweeper.
How much power? I still got plenty of power, only 83%.
Are we all right for power?
Good to take it to the local drags and dust up a few blokes, wouldn't it?
You'd take on a few.
I reckon it. What about? Yeah, okay.
You good?
Well, I'm having a go.
You want to steer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to steer. Be careful though, she gets away from you.
What's the tyre temp like? Oh, geez, you got them going. Oh, your front left's a bit
yeah, I think I'm a bit hard on the front. I'm always hard on the front around here.
Heavy car, but, you know.
It is, you can feel the weight.
Yeah.
Whew.
You know, this car's... Oh, no, that's a range. Oh, there it is.
300. Okay.
930. Do you have to run in electric motors? Like you do? You probably don't, do you?
Probably have to run in the gearbox. I don't know, too late now.
She's running. Mate.
She's running. All right, so it's still in Sport Plus. Do you want Sport Plus?
Yeah.
Okay, just flick it. Hang on, what are you in?
Sport Plus, D for
drag.
drag.
No, flick it up. Yeah, D for drag, yeah. What's going on?
Geez, how good's that heads-up display, mate?
Almost just smashed me watch through the glass.
That heads-up display is brilliant.
It's good, isn't it? Yeah. How clear is it?
Yeah, that, like, seriously, if you got any idea about improving road safety, why wouldn't you just, like, make that mandatory in all new cars? There can't be that big an option.
Yeah.
Like, your eyes are where you need to look. Did you left foot or right foot brake it?
No, I think it was left footing, but the brakes are a bit spongy, mate, so pay attention. They're a bit, the ABS takes over and stops it.
Oh, right.
It actually, that's why I was trying to find the ABS, because it didn't like it.
I'm just going to turn in a bit early till I get there.
Ah, yeah. I think I was probably out a bit wide. Keep going wide here.
Oh, I see. I see what you mean.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit spongy down the
I
bottom.
need a bleed.
Yeah, it just feels a bit.
Oh, shit. If you clear it, I'm keeping it off the ABS.
Ah, okay. Yeah, well, you're smoother than I am with the brakes. You're good with the brakes, so you'll probably be a lot better. It's a bit on the front. See, the front keeps washing away a bit.
What's it like on the curbs?
Oh, watch the curbs, mate. Those wheels look expensive.
That's fine, mate. We haven't got the low mode.
You got a lot of confidence in these brakes, dude. I think the stability control's taken over as well. What do you think? I'm just not sure about the brakes. What do you reckon?
Well, they're all right.
You reckon they're all right?
Yeah, that pedal is a tad spongy, but
Just a little bit. I think it's coming in the ABS, and then it.
Yeah, well, I got it on
forces
the
the brake.
ABS and I just cleared the brake again, just kept it modulating through the ABS and it kept turning the corner.
I was hard on it, and it felt
Yeah,
like it was starting to go long.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But you still feel the weight behind them. It was like a bit like the old pace.
You know
can
it's
feel
a heavy,
the weight.
You know
Yeah.
it's a heavy car, but I've driven a Tesla and it smashes that thing out of the park. Like,
Does it? Is it better?
Yeah, Tesla's body rolling and squealing and carrying on like a pork chop. This thing, you know it's a
bit of brakes. Probably the brakes aren't bedded
that
in.
smells like the Scar Electric track when you were a kid. Home with the Scar Electric.
Yeah, it actually does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it is. Big Scar Electric.
Electric car.
Yeah. I think probably those brakes aren't bedded in. Yeah, they look the discs look brand
We better
new.
give them a good cool down.
Yeah,
I'd have to buy a new set of rotors for this. How much is this car, Russ?
I think they start in the low 2s for the base model.
Oh yeah.
And I think they sort of range up to the high 3s.
Well, that's all right, isn't it?
It's, well, put it this way, it's cheaper than
Considering most of that'll be luxury car tax going straight to the government.
Yeah, as always. It's cheaper than
Cheaper
than a GT2 or GT3.
Yeah.
I don't know about GT2 or 3 is a pretty nice car, pretty good rate, pretty good track car. This wouldn't be a track car, would it? Right.
Well, maybe. If you just wanted to come and do what we did then and get your rocks off for half an hour, you definitely could.
I think if we brought the latest GT2 out here or GT3, we'd be pretty.
Yeah.
We'd be pretty happy with that. But remembering it's still a 4-door saloon touring car. It's not a 2-door GT car as such. So it does everything pretty right.
This is the bit I like, mate.
What's that? Oh, you're going to do it again. Oh, I'm going to put my hand down this time because I'm going to smash the window.
Because you don't know it's coming, do you? You don't know when I'm
No. It happens every time. Jesus. You could put away a few things on the lights, couldn't you?
Yeah.
There wouldn't be too much to accelerate that hard, would there? Because it's instant. You're getting all that torque straight away.
Yeah. Do you want to put the watch on it?
Nah.
No? You good?
Take it back in. Yeah.
Okay.
Take it back in. I'm not. I don't want to own it, mate.
Okay.
I want to own it,
No, I'm
but I
glad
don't
you
want to
bought
own
this
it.
out here, Rust. I reckon I can see why you would buy one of these.
Yeah.
If I want a cool looking car, I want to buy a known premium brand.
Yep.
I've worked hard, I've got myself some money and I want to spoil myself.
Yeah.
I don't see any reason why you wouldn't buy one of these.
No, not at all. I reckon it's worth every dime.
Yeah.
Every dime. What do you reckon, dude?
Mate, I like it. Like
It's
I've had to go with the
seriously right.
Tesla, I've had to go with the Mini, but that thing's at another level,
It's
isn't
next
it?
level, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, and we referred to it, or you did in the last show, that Mark Webber had a lot to do with the design or the performance and handling design of it. Jeez, I tell you what, it's nice. When I drove it up here, it just drives so nice. Like it's just normal, you know, and it's easy. You know, I was fully expecting that, you know, when I got the handover, you know, it was going to take an hour for me to work out all the gizmos, because you got that in your head, you know, you're going to have to flick 5 switches
It's
and
like
then
getting a new iPhone, isn't it?
arrange the solar
Or a new
panels or
telly
something.
or something, yeah.
Mate, it was 10 minutes. He said, there's a switch on the dash, forward, neutral, reverse, put your foot on the gas. Easy as a golf buggy.
No, I see
Like,
it.
like,
I see
like
it, mate.
I went out and went, okay, I'm
see
driving
it,
down
but-
the highway and everything's normal and it's just quieter and bloody fast.
Yeah, but mate, I wouldn't want to race one. I still want to change gears and blip the throttle myself.
Yeah, it'd be a different sort of racing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's meant. I don't think they're looking at that market. Hence why it's a 4-door. You know, but it's just.
Well, mate, they want manufacturer involvement in Formula One. Those things are going to be, they'll be all electric before you know it.
And it's coming at us. It's coming at us fast. You know, the problem is we don't realise how fast it's coming because we're so far behind in this country, and it's acknowledged that Australia is the furthest away from electrification of vehicles in the world, you know, because, and a lot of that's because of infrastructure, because our governments are so dumb about it, you know, and what was it?
Don't get it confused with racing and entertainment, mate. It's like horses. People stop using them for transport, but they still race them.
Yeah, exactly.
And
You're right, you're right. Yeah.
And and
this
brutal
is
machines to race. People won't use them for transport, but we still want to race them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is transportation, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it was I looking at a quote from that Albanese's rolled out, the opposition leader, and they're talking about electric cars and all the rest of it, and he said, "Oh, what about when the sun goes in? We won't be able to charge the cars up and." Right, so I've got solar panels on the roof. You plug it into a goddamn
Well, he
power
probably
point.
thinks we're getting rid of all the coal-powered fire stations are going to be fully solar or batteries or something.
Someone from government that doesn't even know how this whole deal works. So that's why we're so far behind in infrastructure. No, it's not. No, there's no surprise there to anyone. I'm sure about that. But the end of the day is coming at us. We're just slow on the uptake because our infrastructure is so slow. But the actual product is good.
Cool.
And this is coming from a dedicated petrol head.
Yeah, no, I get it. Some people will think that's what they need and they'll be good for them.
Yep. Hey, I know you and someone asked me actually down the coffee shop the other day about the TCR racing as well. Said they watched the last round and said they really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think
it was good. It was good racing, but you had a pickup. Noticed something in it with Chaz in particular.
Well, with Chaz in particular, so he had success ballast of 60 kilos, I think.
Yeah.
Still managed to win the race, not dominantly, but he still managed to win both races. So when you look at that and Chaz at that track and the way he drives, like the biggest problem I see with TCR, where's all the other Chaz Mosterts, And the other thing I think about that, with that performance at Bathurst is, how much better is he than the Walkinshaw car? Is he carrying the car?
Okay. All right.
Because you see they're always experimenting, trying to find pace, and they'll go forward and come back, and they go forward and they come back. So I think with that organisation and Chaz, he's the key to making them successful. So he just overperforms in that category, and I think he's overperforming his car in supercars as well.
So you're saying basically that he could match every bit SVG?
I think so. In the right equipment.
In the right equipment.
Yeah,
so if they were on the same team, for instance, which wouldn't that be?
I'm not like.
That'd be interesting to see.
Whatever he gets in, he drives well. You put him in a GT car when he did the Bathurst 12-hour. BMW hired him, he did well. Put him in the TCR car, he wins.
Yeah.
Put him in the production car, he wins. Put him in a supercar, he wins. Like, that's the guy you got to go for.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah.
It's, I must admit, well, we've always rated Chaz. There's no doubt about it. But on the same boat, I think it's super important, especially a category, because TCR is angling itself towards a category for young drivers, up and comers, to come through, because it is relatively affordable when it compared to against
Aaron Cameron did
else.
a great job and rose to the occasion and battled him. So, somehow.
You got to have a target though.
You've got to have
and I liken it
guy,
to.
and they're lucky they got him.
I liken it to Japanese Formula 3, and it was called Formula Nippon back then, but it was basically GP2. So GP2 and GP3, if you look at it in nowadays terms. So Formula 3, and I raced it. They always had the top European drivers they could get. So they used to pay you to go over there to do the championship. So there was some gun drivers, Tom Christensen, all these sort of guys, like really gun drivers. And the theory behind that is they wanted to get a Japanese driver into Formula 1. So they said, how are we going to do that? Well, the only way we're going to do that, put them against the best. So if we're going to get a Japanese driver trained up, they've got to be racing against the best people possible to get him there. And that's what they did in both categories. And the Japanese championships in open wheeler was huge, and it was super competitive because of that reason. So the same theory in this. In TCR, you still got to have your target. You've got to have your Chaz Mosterts or Garth Tanders or whatever.
Yeah, or when Will Brown was in there.
Form
guy.
So you've got to have someone as your marker. That's your marker.
They got that, and that's the most important thing they got going for him, I think. But man, does he performs at that track, and he performs in whatever car he drives. So
yeah, absolutely. Hey, again, we spoke about James Small.
Yeah.
In the last show.
We did.
And we would have loved to get him on. So you flicked me his number, and I did a few texts, got backwards and forwards. Straight away said, mate, I'd love to come on the show. I'd love to. So, all the way from Charlotte.
The USA.
The USA. We got James Small is up and running and online. There he is. How you going, dude?
Oh, good. Thanks for having me, guys.
It's been a while between drinks. Jesus, I think it's like getting the band back together. You know, here we are at Norwell. We've got Supercheap as a show sponsor, and they've come on board this year with Enforcer and the Dude, and that's where you were hanging around. You and Brad and Hogs, you're all cruising around these parts, around these workshops, working on cars.
Long time ago, geez, making us all seem a lot older. That was 12, 13 years ago, I think. So it was a good time, though.
You haven't changed too much. You got the US beard, the mandatory NASCAR beard, so you're going all right.
Yeah, correct. Yep. So I got a couple of my ugly face.
Well done on the weekend again, because we were talking about your win before that in the NASCAR Championship. And for anyone that doesn't know, you know, James Small's a crew chief, which is just about as important as the driver in many respects. And, you know, you had that win, and then all of a sudden you've won at Martinsville as well, you know, just on a roll.
Yeah, no, it was perfect timing to schedule this chat. But, you know, it was a good weekend and you know, great to get another win so early in the season. You know, helps take the pressure off a little more and bags a few more points and makes it easier for the rest of the year when we head into the chase.
Yeah, mate, I was looking, dude, at how many races they did. Was it 41 rounds?
41 races 38 in total? Races, so 36 championship races and 2 extra ones. Yeah, so right now we're on a 15 weeks straight. We just started, so
15 weeks straight.
Had Easter off.
Yeah, how is it though, running those many races, like for the teams and personnel? Drivers would love it. How good's that to be in the car so many times? But for you guys and the whole crew, man, it must be punishing.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, it's a little bit easier now with the way we go racing with COVID, all those protocols. We're back to, you know, one-day shows a lot of the time with no practice. So generally it's only 1 day away or one night away a week. But, you know, you're using every second you have at the shop just trying to get the cars as best as you can. So it's still a grind no matter what.
So, James, I want to know, as a crew chief over there, do you get a share of the prize money?
No, I don't.
You don't?
Bad deal.
Yeah, I didn't drive a good enough deal, did I? But
I should be your manager.
Yeah, you definitely screw everyone. But no, it's interesting. I do all right. So, you know, it's different, a little bit different. The sport, you know, like everywhere else racing in the world, budgets are a lot tougher now. You know, money's disappearing. So definitely, the money from the good old days doesn't exist anymore, but it's still really good.
So you did it the hard way too, James. Like when you went over, was it 2017? You were with RCR, which was, would you say it was a privateer team? That was a Furniture Row team. Would you classify that in our terms as a privateer team?
So yeah, Furniture Row, when I went there, so I came over at the end of 2013 and was at RCR for a few years. And then Furniture Row was it reminded me very much of working up at Norwell with you guys. And, you know, it was real like a family kind of atmosphere. And
with better drivers.
Hey, settle down.
But, yeah, it was like an outcast. We were the only team out there in Colorado, and you know we had a lot of money, but a good budget. But in 2016, they joined forces with Toyota, and we're a JGR technical partner. So that, you know, took them a step forward. And it was kind of like the old model, you know, what HRT had in the dealer team. Like they'd take all their stuff and do a better job. So it's that kind of deal. So it was a lot of fun out there.
So, mate, your background originally was driving, which you probably could have made a career of driving. You were pretty good at it, had the things fallen your way, and then you end up being an engineer and a crew chief. But how important do you think is having that base of being a race car driver in that series, especially when you've got no data and you're relying on driver feedback and you're adjusting the car on the fly, that relationship you have with the driver and what to do? And is that something if we did in Australia, if we got rid of all the data in the cars, would the old school drivers have an advantage?
I think so. And I know when I first started out there, you know, I was young, fresh out of fresh out of school, and you know, I was driving some supercars out there, and that was huge in trying to talk to the drivers and understanding exactly what they were feeling. You know, I haven't driven on an oval here, but you know, so it's a little different, but definitely that, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, it helps you understand more what they're going through, because it's, you know, you can go and read a million books and all of that, but it's practical experience, and having that, you know, stuff behind the wheel definitely is a huge step forward in, you know, helping translate.
It's a great question, dude, because I think it must be, because I don't know too many engineers that are actually steerers in their time. They just sort of come into it through an engineering background or a degree rather than being actual drivers. Because I remember when you were in engineering my car, was it the Grand Prix? You were racing was it the Aussie Legend car?
Yeah, it was that super cheap Aussie Legend.
That's right, yeah. And
Aussie race car, won the race.
Yeah. Got a couple of podiums over the weekend, and you're engineering the car as well. But to me, it's such a big plus, because like you said, yeah, I know ovals are different, all the rest of it, but understeer and oversteer is still the same thing, and you must be able to relate that better when the driver's talking to you.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, a lot of the guys that have been, you know, successful crew chiefs all over here all have racing backgrounds, all like driven themselves.
Oh, really?
And, you know,
yeah, it's not uncommon.
Yeah, a lot of those guys, and like, you know, Cole, who used to be the crew chief on my car, we had a very similar upbringing, you know, racing go-karts, you know, international classes and all that. And then, you know, he got into late models and stuff like that up in Canada. And, you know, so a number of guys like Paul Wolf, Rodney Childers, all those guys, all, you know, they all used to race and were really good. So it helps a lot.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's probably reverse here, isn't it? Probably you don't get as much of that. So there's obviously something in it.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. It definitely helps.
So NASCAR land, they're renowned for living on the edge of the rules. So that's quite the norm over there. We had never really seen much of that here in Australia. Like the teams are sort of self-policed themselves to a point. No one's really exploited the rule book like they would in NASCAR land. If you come back here, do you reckon you'd have a field day with what you know now?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I have a discussion with people that, you know, have come over here and we joke about it. It's just it's a different way of going racing. You know, you're trying to maximize everything, and if there's not a rule there or it's vague, then you're pushing that. And if you're not doing that, then you're going to get left behind. So it's not, you know, even compared to IndyCar, they sound like a bunch of gentleman racers, and, you know, they do everything by the book. But, you know, NASCAR and, you know, that oval track mentality from the South is quite different. So I've learned a lot and worked with some great people that, you know, have showed me the way as well.
So make Roland Dane look like
make
Roland Dane look like an amateur, mate.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, that's definitely one thing that's lacking in Australia. I think, you know, you could definitely find some gains.
So yeah, we saw a bit of that when Penske joined up with DJR. They were exploiting the rules and more than anyone else would. But from my point of view, they probably, you know, from the Americans' point of view that were in Australia, they probably wondered why they were getting picked on so much, because that's just the norm over here, you know, over there.
Yeah, for sure. And that was, you know, we had some discussions over here when they signed up to go down there that, you know, they were going to take that approach. And I think you saw it firsthand when they did the aero package for that car. There's a set of rules there, and it's like, okay, so how can you screw with these to get what you need? And, you know, it's just the way you got to go about it. And, you know, everybody's doing it. You're working in areas, and if you don't, you know, push everything and maximize it, you'll just get left behind. So,
well, they were the few to really take it to Triple Eight, who were probably the leaders in that area, and they've just taken it to a new level. And people were bitching and screaming about it, but you can bitch and scream, or you can do like you guys do over there and go, okay, we'll just get on with it and do the same and try and do a better job.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, they're probably used to, like, technical inspection here and all of that is incredibly thorough. You know, like, it's not like any racing series I've seen. And, you know, they go through everything, you know, it's like we have the scanners, we have to go through the track and all that every weekend and all the body stuff and held to all these tolerances. But you're still working, you know, in those tolerances, trying to maximize everything you possibly can. So,
Like,
it's definitely interesting.
Question I got for you about the format changes, because a few years back they changed this format where, you've got different sections to each race. I was watching Martinsville and you got split up into like 3 different sections basically till you reach the end. Do you reckon that's provided better entertainment? Because you were there prior to that as well. I mean, I find it a bit hard to follow. I just liked it. When it was run race, you got on with it.
Not if you're an American who wants to get up and have a beer every half an hour and a hot dog, mate. That's why it's a different mentality.
Okay. Yeah, I just find it a little bit harder. I suppose all those years because I'm a big NASCAR fan and watching it prior to that, I find it a little bit hard to follow, and even the championship itself now coming down to like a knockout series. I don't know. Do you reckon it's enhanced it, or do you reckon it's people are struggling a bit with it in the States?
Certainly, I think it's very track specific as well. There's some races where it's completely destroyed it because it kind of limits your strategy, options, and it takes that away because there's a caution coming at lap 60, and you can make it on fuel, and it's kind of killed that kind of aspect. But it's definitely made it, you can't be as dominant anymore. Like there's no car that's going to go and lead, nearly the whole race because you just got constantly, green flag pit cycles and you never lose it. So there's always that element. With the restarts and everything and bad pit stops, there's always going to get shuffled up. So, some weeks I think it really works well, and others it's just, it's not really great. Like road courses, for instance, it really doesn't need that. But, you find a lot of the time because you can't go a lap down when you pit there, everyone will just come and pit before the window opens and before the stage ends. And
bag the track
position. Yeah, so, there's all those games, but for the most part, I think it's been good, but it's not, some people don't find it as pure in the racing sense.
Especially the old school followers, I should imagine. Hey, Joe Gibbs Racing, who you're a big outfit. I mean, one of the biggest NASCAR teams, run a truckload of cars in both series of NASCAR as well. Martin Truex Jr., who you're the crew chief to, he's a pretty underrated driver, isn't he? He sort of flies under the radar a bit, but he's a seriously good steerer, and he's definitely proving it now.
Yeah, certainly. He's been around a long time, and he'd only won 2 races until 2015, and since then he's won 27. So
wow.
He just found the right group of people and got in the right equipment, and he's definitely underrated. And he's very good when it's hot and slick and low grip, and you saw that even at the dirt race. He'd driven 2 dirt races in his whole life, and he won the truck race, and we almost won the cup race until he got a flat tire. So, he's great. He's way easier to work for than you were.
I gave you a few sleepless nights.
Oh yeah, but no, he's one of the nicest low-key guys ever, and he's a tremendous steerer and definitely doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
What fast forward to NASCAR next gen? Is there a new car coming out, James?
Yep.
So basically, it's going to be a transaxle, going to 18-inch wheels. Really trying to basically develop a cookie cutter car and make what's your take on that? How's that going to work? How the team's going to handle it? How the good old boy's going to deal with the sequential transaxle? Yeah,
so it's definitely going to be a massive change for the sport. So the transaxle is actually pretty much the same one that's in the supercars out there now. And, it's very much, we did a test, the Roval at the end of last year with Martin, 2-day test, which also included a day at the Oval, and we got to sample that, and it's an interesting thing. It's a lot different. I understand why they're going to that, and they're trying to limit development and try and get more competitive teams and things like that. But, I don't know. It's very different, and it's still in its early days. A lot of testing and development still needs to go on to iron out all the bugs. But it's definitely going to be, it's going to be a big change, and it's very much more like what we run out there right now. So I think
that's an interesting point.
Yeah.
So the supercars are here to flat out developing their own version of what our cars are going to be, but could you just run what the Americans have designed here? Would that work?
Oh, it probably would. So, ours is designed by Dallara, though. It's probably a lot more expensive. So.
Yeah, okay.
Is that right?
What's
the
a
lower
roller
car,
going to be worth? No engine.
I honestly don't know the exact number yet, but it's I think it's going to be a little more expensive than they had hoped for. But I don't know. Let me get back to you on that.
It doesn't. I'm picking up. It doesn't sound like you're a big fan.
I just, I think it's going to put a lot of people out of work because you can't manufacture anything yourself. You're going to go and buy parts from, the suppliers, and you're just going to assemble them like a Meccano car.
Sounds familiar to what's happening here.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Mm.
It's like I'm living in a time warp, to be honest. It's like we're going through all the same things, You're slowly running out of money. You're slowly going to, control components. Like we've been under, a lot of our development has stopped. Like parts got frozen a couple of years ago. They're limiting wind tunnel time now. They're going to even limit more wind tunnel time next year. They're really trying to cut costs and, because the money's just not out there anymore. And, if we keep going down the road we're on, we're probably going to be doomed. So
they were damned if they do, damned if they don't. So you had to have a swing. But it sounds like this, and again, we're like looking in a mirror here because what's going through with supercars here, they're trying to make a cheaper car, which could end up being more expensive in every respect, including repairing.
Yeah. And I think that's maybe what will happen here, at least initially. It's going to be a big outlay because you've got, you've seen, Paul, the amount of equipment these teams have. It's pretty much worthless now. Wow. Even like all the manufacturing stuff and everything, like we can't do anything anymore. Apart from, it's all composite bodies. So you're going to like fit them up to a chassis. You're not going to paint cars yourself anymore. Essentially, you're going to be setting them up, putting stickers on them and, making sure the body's right. And it's all just going to come down to, whoever's got the best simulation, the best drivers and pit crew for the most part. So it's going to be interesting. And I still think they think it's going to get closer, but I think for at least the first part, the teams with the most money and the most resources are going to get on top of it quicker, find out what works and get a jump start. And, maybe, 2-3 years down the track, it'll all, even out as the information filters through and people move around. And,
wow.
But, IndyCar, three organizations win nearly every IndyCar race, don't they? So,
sounds familiar, Paul.
Well, I think it's the teams with the biggest engineering base and that can sift through the amount of information and come up with a result. So that's...
It's a delicate balance, isn't it? It must be hard for NASCAR as it is for supercars here as well. We're trying to find the balance, and I'm sure over there teams are throwing in their 2 cents worth in, so you're trying to take that into account, except there's twice as many teams. It'll be a difficult gig, but it's so important.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing is, if you can generate more, sponsorship money than anybody, everybody here is not really about making money. The top teams like Coach and Roger Penske and Hendrick, they're all about winning. So they don't need to make a profit. So they're putting all their money they can, and if they have it, they're going to spend it to try and go faster. So it's just going to come down to that and who has the smartest people and the best, the best processes to get through everything and find out what works best.
Now, Martin Truex has been doing some testing in that car. Any feedback?
Yeah, he really liked it on the road course. It's a lot more similar to a supercar now, much bigger brakes, sequential shifter and everything like that. So, he had a lot of fun driving that. There were still some issues when we tested at the oval, with the steering and feel, it's a lot differently. We've got big cars that are heavy and sloppy and a lot of compliance, and you get a lot of feel through the steering and everything. And now you go into like a low sidewall tire, everything's stiff. There's not really any compliance. And so the whole thing is, just a way different beast in it. You get a much different sensation. And obviously couple that with the aero changes, and now it's an under tray and everything's different. So traffic situations were, interesting. So, it'll be interesting to see on an oval when they get, 10 plus cars at one of these tests and how it all shakes out. So I'll pay money to see it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So one thing I want to ask, because I love road course, NASCAR's on road course. And we saw how dominant Marcus Ambrose was there, even in an average car. He could make those guys look second rate. Have they lifted their game on the road courses? And if we sent a Shane Van Gisbergen over there to do a road course race in a top quality car, what would happen?
I think they definitely have. Marcus, made everyone better. And, I think when he was in the 47 car, he was a teammate with Martin, because Martin was at MWR then.
Yep.
I know he learned a lot from him, and just the way you go about setting up the car and driving as well. And since then, I think, the top guys like Martin, Chase, I would find it hard to believe that he could come over here initially and beat them. I have no doubt that in time he could win. I think, he's an exceptional talent and he's awesome to watch. And I always wonder every day what it'd be like if he could come over here, because I think he'd surprise a lot of people.
It'd be good to find out, wouldn't it? We should make that our mission.
We should make it happen.
We should. Yeah, we'll keep in touch with you over that, especially with that new gen car. He could be a stand-up for that. I mean, especially out the gate.
That's going to change it. He'd probably be able to jump in right away then and wax everybody with the new car.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Well, we got a new mission.
mate. It's been so good, number one, catching up with you, because we haven't spoken in years. And like I said, there's a lot of history with Paul and Norwell, myself here, mate. Yeah. It is so good to see you do so well over there. I mean, mate, you've been kicking goals, and people concentrate on drivers that go overseas and are successful, but mate, people like you behind the scenes that don't get as much as the credit, mate, good on you. It's bloody fantastic. It's brought back some great memories, and mate, we're going to check in with you through the year too. Because we want to check in, especially as things progress with the next gen car and just in general talk about life. So we'll be annoying you a bit over the year, but thanks for coming on, dude.
No worries. Thanks for having me. And it's been
James.
Great to see you guys.
All right, how interesting was that?
It's a bloody great success story, isn't it, really?
It is. And that's what I said to him at the end, like guys behind the scenes don't get enough accolades, and there's certainly one that rolled the dice, packed the bags, went over to a completely new country, out on his own, mate, ends up in one of the best teams, winning races in one of the biggest motorsport categories in the world.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Clever kid, smart brain, smart racing brain, comes from a racing family background. Good to see, mate. I'm super proud of him.
Ditto. I mean, it's so good, and gave us a really good insight, not only in NASCAR, but also the next gen car that they call it, next gen, with how it coincides with what's happening here with the supercars. It's really
a lot of parallels.
He was hesitating, mate.
Yeah,
he was not sure. You get that? I know he has to play the game, so I'm sure he wasn't going to come out and go
slag it out.
Yeah, but he looked a bit concerned. He's going, oh, no good. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Hey, good response with our fan questions, and we like to engage the fans,
Big response.
It's all about. So yeah, I mean, there's hundreds of fans comments. I mean, so we only can't go through all of them. We'll be here for 3 days and about 3 slabs of beers. So we had to cull them down a little bit. So we got them. So as always, we got their list here, dude. You go. What do you got?
Yeah, I've got one from Leighton Self.
Yep.
And there's a couple about New Zealand tracks, but his question is, do you think we'll see supercars at Highlands Park, Central Otago, New Zealand at any stage in the future, with old mate Tony Quinn investing in Triple Eight? It's a good point. Mm-hmm. Do you think they may help his cause? So, and there's 3 or 4 there about supercars and New Zealand tracks. So I think it's a good topic because New Zealand's got something we lack, permanent circuits, and they've got a lot of them, and they've got obviously they've got a huge fan base because we've got some good fans in New Zealand. So hi to all the Kiwis, very clued on people over there. So I think we should race in New Zealand more, but the way we go about it now with air freight and trying to fit it into the calendar is too expensive. So if we go back to the old days when we used to roll our trucks onto the boat, take our transporters over there, we do the Nissan Mobile 500 on the South Island, then we go up and do the race at Pukekohe, then you'd come home. We did that in summer. I think that's what we've got to plan for. So if we can put all our stuff on a boat and go to Tassie, we should be able to put all our stuff on a boat and go to New Zealand and hit some of those cool tracks and plan it within the calendar so you can do it with sea freight.
Makes sense.
Makes sense?
Yeah, well, when you look at, I think back in the early days when I was racing UK, we came back and did the series in New Zealand where it went to every single track in New Zealand over the Christmas.
Series.
Mate, it was one of the best championships I've ever did. Well, it was condensed because you're racing every single weekend. Same thing, throw the Formula Ford in the back, next track, next track, next track. And they had some fantastic circuits. And they've got even more now with Tony Quinn's circuits.
Yeah, and if you don't have to take everything out of your truck, it's simple. Roll on, roll off, race, roll back on the boat. It's 4 days across, 4 days back. Get that timing right and let's go and let's take the show to the fans. Give them what they want.
Makes sense, dude. You should be running supercars.
Well, it's hard to find it in the calendar. Like there'll be things in contracts with races where some government's paid to have the last race of the year, or someone's had the first race of the year. So
easier said than done. Yeah,
easier said than done. There are some challenges, but if you don't set yourself a goal to do that, we need permanent tracks. It's impossible to build anything in Australia anymore because of people worried about bloody frogs in trees or whatever. So unless you've got existing approvals like Tail and Bent had, it was an existing centre. It's going to be very hard. Let's go and utilise what those guys have got over there.
Oh, no, I agree.
Yeah. Righto.
The New Zealand government.
What do you got, mate?
Rightio. We got, mate, it's, like I said, so many. From Clint Wood, Facebook comment. What drivers do you think have a legitimate chance of replacing Jamie Whincup when he retires at the end of this year? It's a really good question, Clint. Look, I reckon it's going to be a tough one because, look, the two options you've got, I'm sure this is what they're talking about in the boardroom. Do you go for youth, a Brock Feeney?
Yep.
Bring him on and train him on because you know you've got the best driver in the category in the other car.
Yep.
With SVG. So you can afford to take a chance because you know he's going to be at the front 99% of the time.
Yep.
Right. So let's train someone up to, get him up to his level. Right.
Like they did with Jamie Whincup.
Like he did with Jamie Whincup. Yeah. Yep. Or do you go, no, I'm not going to risk it. I want a Chaz Mostert. I don't care what it costs me. I'm going to put a Chaz Mostert in there. If not the Chaz Mostert. And the theory behind that is it goes back to the old SBR days, right? Of two top drivers battling themselves so hard that it pushes both of them to the front because they're so flat out battling each other into team rivalry to get to the top. Worked for SBR for 3 years, 3 championships later. Who's in the firing line? Well, if you take the one I just said, Brock Feeney, protege of Super 2 with the Triple A.
Yeah,
so.
if you're good at reading smoke signals, it's not too hard to work out what they're trying to do there. They've put pressure on Brock. He's got Red Bull on the car.
Yep.
They're putting him under pressure with all that brand around him, the team around him, and seeing how he performs under pressure. Mm-hmm. So I think that's definitely what's in their sights.
If you're going to go for a top level driver that is available,
it has to be Chaz.
Who would you pick there?
To me, it has to be Chaz because he's adaptable. He can drive anything. The new car's coming; it's going to be different. He's proven that whatever you put him in, he can drive.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't know where he's in contract. Anton will be another one. He's under contract. I know Brody's under contract. I don't know where Chaz is. So, it's to me, it's go for Chaz.
I can't.
Or go for Brock.
And I can't think of too many. I think they're going to have to go for a young player.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of anyone experienced. If I was sitting there and making the decision, there's not too many I'd put in. I'd rather roll the dice and go with someone young.
If you look at that team, whoever drives for that team gets lifted. They've got that good a structure around them, where it's an international come in like Sebastian Bourdais or people that come in as co-drivers. You look at Steve Owen, who drove in our team, which we thought we had a pretty good team because we saw him how well he performed when he was at Triple Eight. He was winning races. He was matching Whincup.
Yep.
We brought him into our team. Doesn't perform at quite the level that they do at Triple Eight. Well, that's just our team's not as good as Triple Eight. So they will lift the driver. They've got the people around them. I think they're going to take the punt.
Who else you got, mate?
I got a good one.
Yep.
Do you think Formula One will ever become electric engine series? Which is relevant for what we've just seen.
Well, after what we've just experienced.
Yeah. I reckon it's on the cards, mate.
Well, yeah, but what about Formula E? Isn't that what they're trying to be?
Well, that might be the toe in the water exercise. But if you got, if Formula One's relying on OEM manufacturer involvement,
Yep.
and the only thing manufacturers are looking at is electric vehicles, Formula One's going to get there before you think.
They've already started that way with what they have anyway.
Yeah.
With they have hybrid systems already, regeneration systems on their cars already, which then flows down to road cars anyway.
Yeah.
Like that Porsche's got regenerative systems in it that comes from Formula One. So, so all that technology is flowing down. Small capacity engine, which they like. They like the hybrid systems on a small capacity engine. So yeah, the next step is
all electric. Could be.
No more spark plugs. See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it could possibly work.
Yep.
Now this is, and I wanted to bring it up. So I'm glad this Kieran Andrew Facebook comment brought it up, because I want to ask you about it. The TA2 cars around Bathurst at the 6 hour. 2 minutes 10.
Yeah, that was Aaron Seaton.
Aaron Seaton put in there. I was really surprised, considering, and like he says, how does the TA2 car compare to speed around Bathurst at the 6 hour? Staggered, they could post a 2 minute 10 with cross-ply tyres, a 4-speed gearbox, and it's pulling 280 k's down the Conrod. I'm with you, Kieran. I was surprised. Bloody good times.
Yeah, it was. Well, that was very early in the morning, low track temp, cold engines were working well. But yeah, when you consider one of those cars is 150 grand, and
to go, what's race times at Bathurst? 2 minute 6s, really, isn't
with
it?
a crate engine in it.
Yeah,
and I'll see one of the things that's come out. I'm going off track a bit, but one of the things that they've come out in supercars at the moment talking about how they have to go automatic throttle grip to protect the crate engines. Well, those TA2 cars have got crate engines, isn't it? I don't see them hand grenading up and down pit lane, do you?
They got mechanical throttle, or?
Yeah, just the throttle cable. And
they got a throttle? They haven't even got electric
fly-by-wire.
No, they do
10,000 k's and they're not getting sprayed everywhere because the drivers manage it. But
very good point.
Yeah,
it's a really good.
That's just propaganda.
Really good question, Karen. Yeah, because
supercars
I was surprised myself for something to go that quick. So you imagine leaving a TA2 exactly the way it is and just putting better brakes on it. Better brakes, and you obviously have to go to a bigger wheel for the calipers. You put a different wheel and brake package on it, you'd probably shave another 2 or 3 seconds off of it.
Yeah,
as well. So, and in which case you're getting down to times which, if you do 7s or 8s,
it's not a bad point. You got a car there where if you went, I'm going to put a bit better brake package on it, put an 18-inch tyre on it, and send it, the thing would be lucky to owe you 200 grand. Now,
well, what do you reckon it'd do around Bathurst if you just change because their brakes are tiny, aren't they?
Yeah, you get into the 7s or high 6s, I reckon. You sorted the brakes out and put a better tyre on it.
What's wrong with that?
But I think the lap time's actually irrelevant because they're raceable. That race between Nathan Hearn, I've only watched it, and Aaron Seaton was one of the best car races I've ever seen. Yeah. 2 drivers with completely different driving styles and car setups having a dig-dong car battle.
Yep, perfect.
With not a laptop inside. Yep. You got me.
Hey, I'll sign up. I've got one for you, dude, actually. You better answer this better because you're across it. From Ricky McLeod, another Facebook comment. Dude, will you be going for a wreck next season? If so, who would you put in there as a driver?
Yeah, so look, I don't think I will be going for a wreck. First of all, you've got to understand the process. So if you wind that back a bit to last year, you saw Tickford was trying to get a wreck. So supercars, those wrecks have been sent into supercars, and the process is they have to go out to tender. Supercars act as the agent. They go to tender. Someone bids for them. They buy them. The proceeds go back to the person that was selling that surrendered the wreck. So the supercars don't get that money. It filters back out to the person that controlled the wreck, whatever the number is. So for Tickford to get one of those wrecks, it would have needed agreement from all the teams not to go through that tender process. So the teams vetoed that and basically stopped them getting a wreck to run a car this year for Thomas Randall. Why would they do that? Because they didn't want to cut up the pie. They still wanted to, share the pie amongst the teams that were there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who comes out in that tender process. I'm sure Tickford will be one of the players, but yeah, I won't be going near that till I have a real good understanding of what Gen 3 looks like.
How much is it going to cost? How much?
Yeah, how much it's going to cost and what's going to. And at the moment, it's still a bit of a mystery to her. There's nothing's come out, so wait and see.
Wouldn't be signing up anytime soon.
Yeah.
You got anything, dude?
Yeah, I got one here. David Harris. David.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Hi guys, great show. I love it when they start with that, don't they?
That's good.
How's the SBR rebuild going? Any updates?
Ah, yes.
That's one for you, Russ.
I did, rebuilding the championship-winning Caltex car, and no, I haven't been back since they pulled the chassis down initially. It was away getting sandblasted, painted. I'll have to go back there because I reckon Ross and Jimmy Stone were hooking in pretty hard, so she'd probably be nearly finished. So we definitely have to make a trip down there. So we have to grab our
cameras?
crusty crew and
Do a tour.
go down there and SBR. And I actually like to go over the car as well because they had some cool stuff on there that I don't reckon some of the current supercars have got on now. They were such innovators in a lot of ways. So
First with the hydraulic sway
rubber.
bar.
Yeah, I'd like to go back and have a look. But yeah, we'll definitely do a follow-up story on that, David. And the invitation was there put out by Ross and Jimmy that when that is finished and if the Pertec car is still around, they were thinking there was a couple of people trying to buy it, the Marcus Ambrose car.
Yeah, was it?
I couldn't afford that, mate. Jeez, I think it's going to go for a few bucks. Yeah.
It probably will be in your car.
Yeah.
Championship winner.
Well, the Pertec car, there was some big numbers being bandied around for that. But if it's still available, Ross and Jimmy said they'll take both cars out at Ipswich Raceway and we can go out and have a steer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see.
How cool would that be? How cool would that be?
Yeah.
Proper H pattern.
Oh yeah, the old H pattern.
H pattern, we can go out.
Not many people know how to use them anymore.
No, that's what I mean. You wouldn't have.
That'd be good.
Not too many people could drive them.
No.
So we're going to go out and have a bit of a roll around. So yep. So we'll keep you up to date.
Right,
we'll definitely keep you posted, and we'll get some more video of the finished product, hopefully, or very nearly finished as well, and a bit of a report about that generation of car in total, which I reckon were interesting. There was an interesting period of time, those cars. There was some cool stuff on them. Mate, we just about
Got there?
We got there. That was a big one. Yeah, got through our list of everything. Of course, thanks to our trusty sponsors, driven by Supercheap Auto. This program is support us by supporting them, of course.
Well, don't forget, got our drive day coming up too, mate.
Sorry, mate. How could we forget that? One of the most popular aspects of Enforcer and the Dude has been the Enforcer and the Dude drive days, right here at Norwell Motorplex. We've got another one booked in for Saturday, the 15th of May. So make sure you jump online, norwellmotorplex.com.au, email, just phone up. They actually answer the phones here, don't they?
Yeah, they answer the phones here, but you can book online, and we've been finding a lot of people been ringing up and booking groups in, so that'll sell out fast. I think we've got 10, 11 spots left.
Already?
Yeah. Well, it's a good day out, good value, mate. You get to do a lot of driving.
It is. You got lunch here too, famous Norwell burger. Very famous around this area, mate. They flock from everywhere to get the Norwell burger. But we got competitions, timed events, and you can have a bit of a go too. I got to tell you, we, as you always say, we let the chains off and let them go.
Let the chains off. The cars are here to be driven, not looked at. So
yeah, it's great. It's a fantastic day. We haven't had one negative comment come out of these days. Everyone just comes out going, when's the next one? So make sure you get to that Saturday, 15th of May. Jump online and do that. Don't forget. Make sure you support us too. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. All the long episodes are on YouTube now. We'll promote them through the Facebook page as well. Of course, we've got Enforcer and the Dude website. Go there for any updates and previous shows as well. So you can just go to enforcerandthedude.com.au and you'll see all the shows there. Jump on that too. It takes you to the YouTube channel. But just subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's way easier. Mate, it's been great. Great show. And we're going to be back very, very soon.
we will.
We do.
You ready?
I'm always ready, mate.
I got a dude's life message. You ready for it?
Yeah, we always do Dude's Life message, mate. It's one of the most popular things.
Okay.
Okay.
Your friends know when you put the helmet on, you have no friends.
Oh, this is a bit of a thinking man's message, that one. Okay.
Well, it's not really.
Oh, so as soon as you put the lid on, you may be friends before, put the lid on,
No friends. Take
No
the lid
friends.
off.
Friends.
Yeah, we've raced hard and
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you've sent me plenty of times.
Yeah.
We're still talking.
we're still talking.
It is.
But this happens on our drive day too.
Yeah, that's true.
People put the helmet on.
Yeah, here we go. Game on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And it should be like, and that's the problem. Nice guys finish second, mate.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, no, that's the problem. You gotta. There is no friends when you're on the racetrack.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Good one, mate.
Righto.
I've enjoyed this one. It's been an absolute blast. So, bigger and better next time.
Yeah.
See you
We'll keep coming up with the stuff, mate.
then. Well, you certainly will. Keep giving us plenty of content. See you guys.
Yeah.
Cheers.